in interesting times. Today's stories. Godfather of Hong Kong film producer behind Bruce Lee dies. Vietnam vets welcome French Prime Minister's visit to Dien for battle site. Too fat to run? Never, says Britain in New York Marathon. The Iglesia Ni Cristo continues its humanitarian work in Canada. Plus, Canada's I Am Joseph cast and crew share their journey to the recently held EVM Awards International 2018 in Los Angeles. This is Eagle News Canada, bringing you stories from around the globe. I am Lou Aquino. Raymond Chow, the film producer credited with bringing Kung Fu legend Bruce Lee to the silver screen and widely regarded as the godfather of Hong Kong cinema, has died at the age of 91. Chow co-founded the Golden Harvest Studio in 1971 and was seen as largely responsible for bringing the city's films to an international audience. He produced more than 170 films over his career, according to industry website IMDb, and nurtured the careers of several action stars, including Jackie Chan. Chow first worked with Lee on The Big Boss, released as Fists of Fury in the United States in 1971, making the actor a martial arts legend overnight. The film broke box office records both in Hong Kong and overseas. He went on to produce or co-produce two of Lee's best-known films, Way of the Dragon in 1972, followed a year later by Enter the Dragon, the first cinema collaboration between a Hong Kong studio and Hollywood. He repeated the success with Chan, first working together on The Young Master in 1980. Born in 1927 in Hong Kong, Chow studied journalism in Shanghai and briefly worked as a reporter before going into the film industry. He joined the Shaw Brothers studio in 1958, working his way up to chief executive before leaving in 1970 to set up his own firm. He was recognized with a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Asia Film Awards in 2011. Fellow filmmakers and industry figures paid tribute to a man they said played a crucial role in the emergence of Hong Kong cinema. A message on the Twitter account managed by Lee's daughter recognized Chow's role in the late legend's rise to stardom. It said, "Thank you, Raymond, for taking a chance on a young Bruce Lee and helping him to realize his dream. Rest in peace, Raymond." He discovered Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan, who until then were unheard of, Sin told the South China Morning Post. Chow is an undeniable hero in the history of action movies. Director, writer, and actor Chang Tu-cho said Chow's death was a huge loss for Hong Kong cinema. Huang Bao was barely 20 years old when he trekked to Dien Bien Pho in northern Vietnam to fight the French, facing his enemy full of hatred and ready to die for his country's independence. More than 60 years after the Communist shock victory in the epic battle, the site of which French Prime Minister Edouard Philippe will visit Saturday, retired Colonel Bao is happy to call his former foe a friend.
Không có cái mặc cảm gì với người Pháp cả. Người Pháp thậm chí với tầng lớp chúng tôi là người có hiểu biết và có được học tập về văn hóa Pháp thì cũng thấy rằng chính cũng có cái mặt ngoài cái mặt tiêu cực là xâm lược, là bóc lột nô dịch thuộc địa của mình, thì họ còn có mang đến một cái phần cái văn minh của châu Âu đến cho mình.
But he said there are important lessons to be learned from the bloody 56-day fight that sparked the collapse of France's colonial Indochina Empire and paved the way for the northern Vietnam's independence.
Tôi không cần ngại gì phải nói với ông là chúng ta từ lịch sử rút ra đừng có mắc sai lầm về lịch sử, đừng bao giờ mắc sai lầm về lịch sử, bởi vì tất cả các vị chẳng qua các vị là không nghiên cứu lịch sử Việt Nam mà các vị đã bị sa lầy. Cái Việt Nam nó khác tất cả các nước trên thế giới khác, chưa thấy đâu là không bao giờ nó chịu.
Vietnam's win over the French led to the country's division into the communist-ruled North, headed by revolutionary leader Ho Chi Minh and a pro-U.S. Southern regime. That set the stage for 2 decades of war, which would end with unification and America's defeat in the Vietnam War in 1975. Today, France is one of Vietnam's most important allies, with soaring trade worth $7.6 billion and costing military alliances.
Nhưng gần đây thì nghĩ là có thể Pháp cũng có thể viện trợ quân sự hoặc giúp đỡ về mặt quân sự. Nhất là những cái vấn đề liên quan có cần thiết cho cái cuộc chiến đấu để bảo vệ cái vùng biển, vùng trời của Việt Nam. Thì rất cần. Cho nên nếu có được sự tăng cường cái quan hệ về mặt đó, tôi thấy cũng tốt.
Philippe is the second senior French leader to visit the site after President François Mitterrand in 1993. The French premier, who will travel to Dien with several French vets, said the trip is a chance to pay respect to the thousands who fought in the war. The ferocious battle in the rugged, remote valley killed 13,000 people on both sides in under 2 months, as Vietnamese fighters hemmed in French forces, equipped with superior weapons, and bombarded them with heavy artillery. Facing the French in the battle was complicated for some fighters whose lives were closely intertwined with their colonial rulers, sometimes going to school or working alongside them. But driven by patriotism and a fierce thirst for independence, many Vietnamese took up the struggle fortified by bitter memories of invasion by the Chinese, Japanese, and French. They were also buoyed with communist slogans that urged everyone to pitch into the war effort. The battle for Dien Bien Pho is still bittersweet for many who wear the victory as a badge of honor, but lament the steep death toll.
Chỉ muốn là nhắc nhau sống cho hòa bình thực tế, đừng bao giờ có chiến tranh. Tôi thì không thích chiến tranh, mặc dù rất tự hào về chiến thắng Điện Biên Phủ, nhưng cũng nhiều đau xót vì mất nhiều đồng đội, cho nên không bao giờ tôi thích chiến tranh.
6 years ago, a doctor told Londoner Julie Craffield that she was too fat to run a marathon. She had none of it and proved him wrong. The 40-year-old mother of one will be taking part in her 4th marathon in New York, a dream come true. The professional life coach began her running career in 2010 when she took part in a short race and came last.
But I came last in a race, and when I got to the finish line, there was no finish line left. Everybody had left and gone home, and that's when I started writing the blog and really feeling quite passionate about larger women running. Because we weren't very visible in the running world. You know, when you think runner, you think tall, slim, fast, and lots of people want to do running for lots of other reasons.
The London Olympics later inspired her to run her first marathon.
And then I was training for my 2nd marathon, and a doctor said, "You're too fat to run." I'd hurt my back doing something completely not exercise related, and he said, "You know, you're just too fat. You mustn't run." And then 2 weeks later, I ran the Brighton Marathon just to show him that I could.
Craffield, who says she does not know how much she weighs, wears a dress size 18 in Britain, which is a 16 in the United States. It is in Central Park, where the fall leaves are already turning yellow, that Craffield hopes to cross the finish line along with more than 50,000 other runners taking part from around the world. The average time to complete the New York Marathon, which takes in the city's 5 boroughs, is 4 hours and 35 minutes. Last year's winner, Jeffrey Kamworor of Kenya, roamed home in 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 53 seconds. Craffield calculates that it'll take her between 6.5 and 7.5 hours. She'll run as much as she can and walk when she needs a breather. People take up running for all kinds of reasons. She says not only to lose weight or get in shape, but to counter depression, to socialize, or even carve out a little me time. Although she has been heckled and insulted for running, Craffield stops at nothing and is confident that little by little, attitudes are changing.
Times it happens to me, it happens to women that follow my blogs. I've had things thrown out of car windows at me when I train. I get heckled a lot of the time. It tends to be either children or grown men, and sometimes people shout things that they think are motivating, but they're not. Look like, you know, there's so many more important things that define you as a woman rather than just what you look like. So I don't care that I don't look great in lycra. That's not the thing. It's like if I can achieve big goals and inspire other people and make kind of an impact on this planet. You know, I wasn't born to look pretty. That's not my job in life. And I think that inspires other women, so that's why I carry on writing my blog.
Although some people want marathons reserved only for the elite runners, a growing majority, especially in New York, believe they should be open to a wide pool of people as possible.
But, you know, how do you run a marathon? Step by step, you know, so you just make the first step. So maybe the first step is buying a new pair of trainers, maybe it's researching where the running clubs are, maybe it's signing up for a race. You know, you can't achieve your goal unless you take that very first step. So it's just working out what that tiny little step could be and you know, finding the courage to go for it. And they're not always thought about in terms of making sure that races are long enough for them to take part in, that they have the right size t-shirts. You know, there are small details that really exclude people. And I think that the running world as a whole has got a long way to go. You know, they just talk about speed all the time, you know, fast, who could be fast and who can, you know, it's all about making improvements. And for some women, they don't need to improve, they just want to carry on, you know.
Up next, Iglesia Ni Cristo continues humanitarian work in Canada. Eagle News Canada will return in a moment. Welcome back. You are watching Eagle News Canada. A vehicle in Toronto is swallowed by a sinkhole after a water main break occurred earlier that morning.
It just got swallowed. It's going down. It's going down.
The members of the Iglesia Ni Cristo or Church of Christ continue to help their fellow men in the eastern part of Canada. Take a look.
Today, the Felix Y. Manalo Foundation continues to extend help to the poor, especially to those affected by disasters and calamities. Its project called Aid to Humanity aims to assist government services by reaching out to shelters, centers, and community food banks. This weekend, through to the end of October, the FYM Foundation and the Church of Christ are handing food donations to communities in need.
Like all big cities, the government does its best to provide assistance and support to the populace's various economic issues. For example, the rising cost of housing units, especially here in Canada's largest city, Toronto, where affordability has become more of a concern for more and more people, meaning non-for-profit organizations are playing more of a key role to not only reach out, but to help out. That's why today, members of the Church of Christ is doing its part to do more. Under the Felix Y. Manalo Foundation, they are reaching out to various food banks all over the city, such as Flemington Community, the Daily Bread, the North York Harvest, and here in Scarborough Center for Healthy Communities, where they're providing immediate relief by donating food to help those in need.
So we would be taking all of these items that you guys brought in today. They'll be going into our market space to help us serve more families than we normally do, and also being able to offer them more items than we could without those donations. So right now we estimate that we serve roughly 300 clients a week, and those are only the clients coming into the food bank. We estimate roughly 1,200 mouths that we actually feed within a week. Very, 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 very important to get donations from our community, because especially during the summertime, donations tend to drop a little bit. So when we have more donations coming in, we're able to provide more supports to our families.
Now, on behalf of the Church of Christ, Iglesia Ni Cristo, under the leadership of our Executive Minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, we happily donate these food so that may be of help to those who are in need. in our community. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, the Felix Manalo Foundation, for donating this food to us. They have been a great help. In just this year, in the beginning of the year, in February, they have donated about 14,000 pounds of food, and today they donated about 3,000 pounds of food. So thank you so much.
Right, thank you. May that help.
A month ago, 6 tornadoes struck the Ottawa and Gatineau areas, affecting thousands of residents. Homes were destroyed, and many lost power and food. The Felix Y. Manalo Foundation continues its Aid for Humanity outreach program from Gatineau to Kinburn and Dunrobin, areas affected by the tornado. Today, the Felix Y. Manalo Foundation reaches out to the Ottawa Food Bank to deliver food donations and winter care packages.
So after the tornado, the Ottawa Food Bank had 11 food banks that lost all of their power, which means they lost all of their fresh food. So we immediately went into those communities providing food directly to those who had lost power and were out of their homes. Receiving donations such as the one that we're receiving from your organization will help replenish our shelves here now that we've sent out so much food. We just want to share our sincere thanks to your organization for such an incredible donation and such incredible support. I know that this isn't the first time you've done this for us, and we're just really grateful to receive this food today and know that it will go into the community immediately to help those who are most in need.
We are here in the western tip of Ontario, Canada, in the town of Leamington, where the FYM, or Felix Y. Manalo Foundation, has gathered and reached out their hands to many migrant workers, seasonal farmhands, and local residences to provide well-stocked winter care packages to show love and kindness and their care to their fellow man, but all the more to show true Canadian hospitality.
And held our Lingap Pamamahayag, or Aid for Humanity Evangelical Mission in Leamington. And there were 61 people who benefited from it. And not only that they received care packages, they also listened to the words of God. And with God's help, 56 of them signed up for Bible study. To God be the glory on that.
Through the mercy of our Lord God, we were able to help those seasonal workers that happen to also work on farms, just like our brethren. They have come from far and wide, whether it be the Philippines, whether it be Mexico or even Cambodia, just to be with us this evening in the hope that they can meet their needs of their daily life. On behalf of 3 locales, we were able to prepare winter accessories, especially in preparation for the upcoming winter, which includes toques, mittens, and we also have given them a hand towel for work while they are in their farms. We also included toothbrushes, which is in accordance with their hygiene accessories, and canned goods, so that if ever, especially during the winter, they are not able to go out or they're not able to have time, whether it be they're working, they would be able to have food ready just in case.
In line with this, the FYM Foundation continues to show their love through donations of food to many food banks such as Project Share in Niagara, Knight's Table in Brampton, and Eden Food Bank in Mississauga.
So this food that we're receiving right now is going to benefit them. A lot of them right now are immigrants that are coming into the country. We have a lot of them coming in right now. So thank Church of Christ for this generous donation. I mean, it is a lot of food that you guys are giving to us. It'll benefit a lot of people, and it'll keep our supply plentiful and keep everybody happy.
In Niagara Falls, the Felix Y. Manalo Foundation reaches out to Project Share Services to extend their helping hand to families and residents who live below the poverty line. The Iglesia ni Cristo, or the Church of Christ members, are heeding to the immediate needs of the community.
Members of the Church of Christ supported this 2-week food drive with thousands of boxes of food essentials and items like canned fish and meat, canned vegetables and fruits, cereals, dry pasta, legumes, peanut butter, rice, baby diapers and baby food, and formula donated. Reporting from the Aid to Humanity in Ontario, Canada, with Marco Zurito in Toronto, Ray Mangahas in Leamington, Ira Apuyan in Niagara, I am Sabir Mufti in Ottawa, 1 with 25.
The Iglesia Ni Cristo helps their neighbors in a food drive event in Calgary. EBC's Tiffany Alisasis with the details.
The Calgary Food Bank is the most accessible food bank in Calgary, serving families, individuals, and organizations. It is not a government organization, nor a United Way agency. It relies solely on volunteer work and community support.
Today, the volunteers of the Aid for Humanity of the Iglesia Ni Cristo and the Felix Y. Manalo Foundation give their time to help hundreds of people who are fighting food insecurity.
I believe that it is important for a member of the Church of Christ to help those who are in need because it is one of our responsibility to be an integral part of the community.
We're taught every day that we should continue to help others, and in the community we're doing this food bank because it's returning the kindness to the people.
Today, volunteers bring perishable items such as canned goods, pasta, rice, and other products. Boxes will be then filled, donated to, and picked up by the Calgary Food Bank.
The food bank supports hundreds of other charitable organizations fighting against food insecurity and working with the community to fight hunger.
Reporting from the Iglesia Ni Cristo Church here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, I'm Tiffany Alisasis, and I'm 1 with 25.
Thank you, Tiffany. Coming up, Canada's I Am Joseph cast and crew share their journey to the recently held EVM Awards International 2018 in Los Angeles. Eagle News Canada will return shortly. This is Eagle News Canada. I am Lou Aquino. Canada's I Am Joseph cast and crew share their journey to the EVM Awards International 2018. Zalise Solano de Guzman reports.
Los Angeles, California is known all over the globe for the glamour of the TV and movie industry. Attractions such as the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Universal Studios, and the famous Hollywood sign is the stage today for the first International EVMA Awards in the West for In Cinema.
For the first time in Cinema, Excellence in Visual Media Awards will be held here in the Microsoft Theater, Los Angeles, California.
It's a music and theater event venue that can seat up to 7,100 people. Microsoft Theater holds one of the largest indoor stages in the United States and hosts multiple annual award shows such as the Emmys, Grammys, American Music Awards, and many others.
This year, the District of Southwest California welcomes all the delegates who traveled from different parts of the world.
Prior to this day, the organizers put together different activities for the delegates. The EVMA Awards International experience here in Los Angeles gave them the chance to explore world-class museums and visit historically significant neighborhoods in Los Angeles. They had the opportunity to feel the California sunshine and all the excitement that comes with it.
With 120 film entries from districts all around the world, the International EVMAs acknowledges the finalists from this year's In Cinema. As we can see, it's a red carpet filled with In Cinema delegates surrounded by members of the Iglesia Ni Cristo coming from different districts here in the United States and abroad.
My
My district is Southwest California. Hopefully that we win, and even if we don't win, we're still winners at our district.
The fact that we're already here, you're already a winner. Congratulations again.
Good luck to all entries and congratulations.
It's very exciting and overwhelming.
Be proud of your work. We know firsthand that you've spent a lot of effort, a lot of sacrifice, and we know for sure that we will be inspired by every single film that is in this entry.
I was actually the ambassador for the delegates from Canada, and they were so great. They were so great. They were so happy. We were always cracking jokes and stuff like that. To see their success here in Ion Cinema, EVM Awards, I feel like I'm part of the Canada delegation. So I'm very proud of the Canada delegation and all of that you have accomplished tonight.
For all of our brethren around the world, we wish to give a greeting to all and wish God's blessings upon all of us. For those in Canada too, our former district, we would also like to greet you and say hello.
This historic event is truly a milestone for members of the Iglesia Ni Cristo as it takes place here in Los Angeles, California.
With a roster of short film productions, In Cinema aims to inspire members of the Iglesia Ni Cristo to hone their creative and artistic talents. Talents such as acting, script writing, directing, video editing, sound design, production design, among others. Just like all the other film entries, Canada 2's film, I Am Joseph, shared with us their journey during the filming process.
So we're about to board, going to Chicago, then to LA. We'll see you there, EVMAs.
Just arrived in LA, waiting for baggage. It's not baggage. And the transportation to the hotel. See you there.
A lot of the brethren that helped in the In Cinema film 2018, I Am Joseph, came from brethren throughout, the different parts of our district, local congregations from Mississauga, in the Mississauga area, which is now their own district, and Canada 4. We have brethren as far as even going east in Scarborough, those helping out in Victoria. There were even particular scenes wherein we allowed a certain local congregation to just join to be extras. And having said that, this really increased the participation.
From seeing all the brethren come together, doing set design, wardrobe, hair and makeup, testing the shots and the sound, and seeing the story come to life through all the acting. It's such a wonderful experience to just enjoy the production process and to see all the members be edified in their faith in doing this production.
This film has helped me come out of my shell, to be more social and to think outside of the box. As a person, I'm quite shy, and becoming this new character who is outgoing, talkative, and more social, I was able to explore different aspects from this character.
The pre-production part, I really like it because of the creative process. When you share ideas, when you collaborate with other brethren, when you challenge each other's ideas, and then seeing it come together.
Writing music for film is challenging. You're not just putting notes to a picture. You're trying to convey a theme, a feeling that supplements what you see on screen and what you're hearing on screen with the dialogue. And that was a really challenging thing. And I Am Joseph affected me in ways where I can improve upon that skill. I can try new things and, make mistakes and know when I made mistakes and fix them. And it was really a good way to grow artistically and creatively, and I'm very grateful for having that chance to do so.
And these kind of ventures allow members of the Church of Christ to explore parts of themselves that they've never gotten a chance to explore or express. You know, acting, filmmaking, directing, writing, sound, editing, all of the things that are involved in a production is something that's not necessarily common in your, twice a week worship service. You know, we're so used to being able to absorb information and learn and change and grow as Christians, but it allows us to creatively express, God's teachings through the stories that we tell.
In Cinema is a project launched by the Eaglenews.PH administration to promote Christian values and to also create quality productions.
Every year, In Cinema receives more than 100 screenplay entries that are reviewed according to very specific criteria, including following a theme. This year, there were a total of 44 international film finalists, of which 9 came from the Philippines. After the regional competition, In Cinema concludes with an International Excellence in Visual Media Awards, an event that awards the winning film in each category.
We actually won the best sound effects and the best musical score, which is so awesome because it's actually a musical movie, the first of its kind. It's all about the highs and lows of life and how at the end of the day, life is always sweet because there's always something to be grateful for.
In Cinema 2018 indeed has been another successful year for members of the Iglesia ni Cristo around the world. For EBC's Special Feature Stories, I am Solis Solano de Guzman, your Canada Bureau.
Thanks, Celise. This is this week's Eagle News Canada. Join us next week for stories that matter to you. Visit our website at Eaglenews.PH and EagleNewsLive.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/EagleNewsPH. Thank you for watching. I am Lou Aquino. I am 1 with 25.